Fragmenting the Self is a reflection on the beauty industry's increasing push towards a homogenized ideal that erases individual identity in pursuit of an artificial standard of beauty. Created from 20 used makeup wipes sewn together with embroidery thread, my piece is meant to resemble a patchwork of human skin. A series of 12 ID photos, beginning in infancy and ending with my most recent passport photo, accompany the wipes, lining the parallel walls that surround it. The progressive pixelization of the images is meant to highlight how these beauty standards are artificially imposed, and as you age, your awareness of them grows reciprocally with the mounting pressure to conform to them. The makeup wipes are meant to be a visual metaphor of the tasking and at times painful performance of beauty and femininity, mirroring a second skin, a face that we can put on and take off as desired. Fragmenting the Self questions the idea that our bodies are objects that can be manipulated, cut up, opened up, stuffed, stretched out, and sewn back up. The idea that there is something inherently wrong with our bodies, that our natural features should be covered or changed in order to fit an unnatural and insincere idea. This push for and seemingly endless pursuit of an artificial and homogenized standard results in a loss of our identifying physical attributes, which in turn leads to a loss of identity and sense of self. Both the makeup wipes and the ID photos highlight how beauty culture demands a constant self-editing, reducing faces and bodies to marketable commodities, stripped of their unique characteristics, leaving them unrecognizable. The creation of this piece was shaped by my reading of The Age of the Instagram Face, how social media, Facetune, and plastic surgery created a single cyborgian look, an article published in New York Magazine by Gia Tolentino. The Instagram face is a phenomenon that Tolentino observes among what she calls professionally beautiful women. It is, quote, a young face, of course, with poreless skin and plump high cheekbones. It has cat-like eyes and long, cartoonish lashes. It has a small, neat nose and full, lush lips. It looks at you coyly but blankly. It's a face that is distinctly white but ambiguously ethnic. It suggests a National Geographic composite illustrating what Americans will look like in 2050 if every American of the future were to be a direct descendant of Kim Kardashian West, Bella Hadid, Emily Ratajkowski, and Kendall Jenner. In this article, Tolentino argues that while female ideals of beauty that are met through painful processes of physical manipulation have always been with us, from tiny feet in Imperial China to wasp waists in 19th century Europe. However, with the rise of reality TV and social media, we find ourselves in a state of continual visual self-broadcasting, and have thus created new visual disciplines of self-improvement. Tolentino further argues that in a society where women's youth and beauty are valued above all else, and where a branch of mainstream feminism promotes self-objectification as progressive simply because it is profitable, cosmetic enhancements can appear to be one of the few reliable, high-return investments that a woman can make. The following quote, in which Tolentino reflects on wearing makeup throughout important milestones in her life, from her ballet performances when she was 6 to her college interviews at 16, particularly resonated with me. What did it mean, I wondered, that I have spent so much of my life attempting to perform well in circumstances where an unaltered female face is aberrant? How had I been changed by an era in which ordinary humans receive daily metrics that appear to quantify how our personalities and our physical selves are performing on the market? And what was the logical end of this escalating back and forth between the digital and the physical improvement? It is precisely this idea, the notion that a bare female face is somehow transgressive and unacceptable in important and public moments, that I wanted to explore in my work. This idea that in order to be socially acceptable, we must alter and hide our natural features, an idea that is pushed on us from an increasingly young age. Another important reference for this piece, especially visually, is the work of artist and drag performer Victoria Sin. Though assigned female at birth, Victoria Sin is a drag performer that identifies as non-binary. Sin's performances, while extravagant in terms of bodily aesthetic, center on seemingly mundane acts, such as making a sandwich or drinking a glass of milk on stage, turning these ordinary actions into wry commentaries on the labor of performing femininity. Their drag character exudes a sense of boredom, always looking incredible yet visibly irritated by the necessity of performance. The prints seen in the series are a reflection on what it means to embody womanhood in its most exaggerated form. Sin's work explores an extravagant and over-the-top embodiment of femininity that is neither entirely critical nor wholly celebratory. It exists in a space between admiration and resentment. While they reject the way femininity was imposed on their body while growing up, they also take great pleasure in performing it. This duality extends to their unique artistic practice, where used makeup wipes become artworks, literal prints of Sin's face. Having refined this technique over several years, Sin carefully presses and rubs the wipes in a specific way to capture an imprint of their drag makeup. These wipes serve as an archive of the feminine labor performed in the evening, but they also take on a performative quality in themselves, encapsulating both the act of transformation and its erasure. My work, Fragmenting the Self, is deeply connected to my experiences growing up between Colombia and the United States, two countries where physical beauty holds immense cultural significance. Colombia is not only known for exporting coffee, cocaine, and bananas, it also has a deep-rooted culture of beauty pageants, hosting nearly 4,000 competitions a year and ranking third in the world for plastic surgeries per capita. Rhinoplasty was the most requested facial surgery in Colombia in 2024, and the country leads globally in attracting medical tourists seeking cosmetic procedures. It is not uncommon for teenagers, particularly girls, to receive plastic surgery as a gift for their quinceañeras from parents or other relatives. I vividly remember being in school in the 8th or 9th grade and remarking at all the girls with fresh bandages around their noses, walking around with their heads held high, the bandages almost a token of pride. Meanwhile, the United States serves as the epicenter of global beauty standards, at least in the Western world, home to Hollywood and the world's leading beauty influencers, where ideals of physical perfection are constantly shaped and exported. This work is a reflection of my experiences navigating both cultures, questioning the societal obsession with beauty and examining the pressure to conform to an increasingly homogenized ideal through any means necessary.